Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video we're going to be trying out the new Juvias Place foundation. So this is the I Am Magic Velvety Matte Foundation. It's 30ml and I've got it in the shade Isla 730. So this is not the lightest shade but is the one before, so the second lightest shade. It comes in like a little tube like this. This is actually smaller than I thought it would be, but it feels very full, so it makes you think that things that come in bigger packaging are actually just wasting a lot of space. So I do also have the concealer, and it just comes in a similar looking box, and this is absolutely huge, this concealer. I got it in the lightest shade, which is number 24. I had a little bit of trouble matching myself online, and if I'd have known, like now they have released like colour charts, but when I ordered it, like when it first launched, they didn't have the colour chart, so I just went with the lightest because that's what I usually do, and it is very pale, like it's like the colour of my wall, so it's absolutely huge. Let me see how big it is. It's 10ml. So you can buy this foundation from the Juvias Place website, and you can also buy it from Ulta if you live in America. I'm in the UK, so I had to buy it from the Juvias Place website. You can either ship it direct, which will be quite expensive, or you can do what I do and send it to like a shipping forwarding service. I use my mailbox, so that sends it. So Juvias Place will send it to my mailbox send it on to me. So that's how I've got it. I had the concealer a little bit earlier than I did the foundation, because when I ordered the foundation, what I did was I clicked on the picture of the one that I wanted, but it didn't update, and so I added it to cart, and it actually added the darkest concealer to my order. So I ordered like one of the lightest foundations with like the darkest concealer. I contacted Juvias Place like literally 20 minutes after I had placed this order and just said, look, I've ordered the wrong concealer, can you just like change the number for me? And they said no. So I was a little bit disappointed about that, because all they needed to do was go into my order and amend it. It hadn't been processed, it hadn't been shipped. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. So then I had to place another order, like a separate order for this concealer. Because I've had the concealer a little bit longer, I have tried it once or twice, and I do think it's quite a nice concealer, but I think it's, you know, very similar to my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, which is a lot cheaper and easily to get in the UK. The colours are very similar. This is in the shade Fair Beige. I'm just going to do some little swatches now, just so you can see what they look like side by side. Okay, so can you tell which is which? Well, this one is the Juvias Place concealer, and this one is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in Fair Beige. So I mean, this one does look a little bit pinky, and a tad actually a bit darker when I look at the two together, but very similar. So the Juvias Place foundation is meant to be very full coverage and like a velvety matte, so it's something that sounds like I will quite enjoy, so I'm excited to try this one out. I'll be using a damp Real Techniques sponge on one side of my face, and then this Primark, I think it's a HD Kabuki brush on the other side of my face, and then as usual I've put my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, because I've used that just because it does nothing drastic to my skin, and I don't want to, you know, use a really mattifying primer, because that might make the foundation seem, you know, better than it really is. So yeah, that's what I've used on my face today. Sponge side on my face, and as you can see it is very full coverage. The shade's quite good for my skin, and the only thing I have noticed is it is oxidizing, because when I'm like damping like new product on, I can see it's a lot lighter than the one that's actually been sitting on my face for a while. It is quite a yellow foundation. I don't remember if I checked the undertones at the time. I usually prefer like a neutral undertone, but I can tell it does have like a yellow like tonal base to it. So this is the brush side, and I actually feel like I did better with the sponge side. I feel like it was harder to blend with the brush and easier with the beauty blender, if that makes any sense. Like I feel like it's a little bit more streaky with the brush, probably because it's such a thicker formula. So yeah, I'm probably just going to go over this side with like a beauty blender, and I don't feel like I've got as much coverage, but I don't know. So yeah, that is beauty blender side or sponge side and the brush side. Okay, so while I've been waiting for this to kind of settle and dry on my face, I did actually go onto the Juvias Place website and had a look at the undertones of this foundation. So in the shade that I picked, the shade Isla, it says it's actually neutral with cool undertones, and I see no pink at all in this. So I feel not very yellow, but more yellow than usual. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to put some of the concealer on now. Okay, so I feel a bit silly right now. So this is the lightest concealer with the second lightest foundation. So you would have thought them being quite similar on the, you know, the pale spectrum, that they would match, but they don't. So I'm obviously going to have to use some kind of darker setting powder. But yeah, I look a bit of a mess right now. Okay, so I have just set my face now, and I feel like it's saved it a little bit. So I've used the Primark My Perfect Colour. This is like just a big setting powder. I use the shade Porcelain, and I'm really into at the moment taking a damp beauty blender and kind of like pressing it or pouncing it into my foundation. And I know that probably will make the foundation last a little bit longer as well, but it's just what I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, I feel like the colour looks a lot better. I mean, obviously it's still quite bright under here, but not as bad as it was. So the foundation is very full coverage, and it doesn't seem quite flat, so that is great. The time is about 11:15 at the moment, so I'll do a check-in later when I've given it a good amount of wear, and then we'll see what it looks like then. Hey guys, welcome back. So the time is almost 5 o'clock, and I've been wearing this foundation for around 6 hours now, but I thought I would just give a little check-in. I will be doing a final check-in at the end, but I just wanted to do like a not even a midpoint check-in, like, because it's past that right now, but a check-in just so we can see how it's wearing. So I have had my hair done. So that's why I look different in the beginning, because at the beginning I was like, I'm not bothering doing my hair because I know I'm going to get it done later. So the foundation looks really good, and from what I've seen on other people's videos, you know, it was breaking up really quickly, but on like my forehead, everything is in place. There is no oil at all here. There is a slight bit of shininess here, but it's nothing in comparison to how a lot of foundations do perform at this point. A tiny bit of shine on my chin, but again, nothing major, and then all still in place around here. I think a little bit of my foundation has washed off here from when I was having my hair cut, but for when I was having it washed, but other than that, everything seems in place. So for 6 hours, I'm impressed, because I wasn't expecting it to last this long. It has kind of settled into these lines that I've got here, but it's nothing that, say, like a beauty blender just pouncing over it wouldn't sort out. So yeah, 6 hours in, the foundation is looking good. Yeah, I just keep looking at it because it's so full coverage and it's lasted, because if it's full coverage normally it breaks down quicker on my skin, but yeah, it looks really good. So yeah, the time's what, 5 o'clock. I'll probably call back about what, 7 or 8 o'clock, so in a couple of more hours wear, so we'll see what it's like then. Right, so a little later than planned. The time is 9:30, so I've been wearing this foundation for over 10 hours now. So I thought we could do the last check-in and see how it's going. So around my nose is quite oily and is around my chin. However, I'm not really oily on my cheeks and everything still seems in place. I'm getting a little bit shiny on my forehead, but nothing in comparison to, you know, this part of my face. The funny thing is that even though it is oily, the foundation is still there, if that makes any sense. So if I was to say take a blotting sheet to it, it would just completely disappear, but my pores look okay, the foundation still looks really full coverage. I'm actually quite surprised by this because I didn't think I was going to like this foundation, but it actually still looks really good on the face. So with this foundation, I'd definitely say it's a really good foundation. It is worth picking up. However, maybe not so much about the concealer, because it is a nice concealer, and if you want to buy it, you can buy it. However, I do feel like the e.l.f. camo is like a cheaper alternative to it. I got like a similar colour to this one, and it kind of has the same full coverage effect on it. So yeah, I do like the foundation, but I'd probably skip on the concealer and get this one instead. So thanks for watching today. Check out my other videos that I will link in the description box, and I will see you again shortly. Bye!